So here we are, season 2, episode 19,
Yeah.
Weekly Ward, KJ versus the Highway, Big Ward 28, also known as Dan Ward and Kevin Jones. I feel like making some kind of show to like a radio reference, like join us for the morning show. But we're here. It's the Weekly
We're
Ward.
the afternoon show.
We are. Thanks a lot for the follow, Mr. Snuffleupagus. Here on the Weekly Ward, we're going to be going down a sports center, pardon the interruption, whose line is it anyway, around the horn type of atmosphere, where we have on our left, or my right, the topics that we're going to be discussing that's going on.
The ticker, if you will.
Yeah.
The topic rundown, the rundown, whatever you want to call it. We got a bunch of stuff coming. We got Pro Tour Amonkhet coming up today. We got Fact or Fiction regarding the future of Standard, and then we got the future of Magic.
What?
Some changes going on in Wizards of the Coast and in the recent past, and as recently as yesterday, and we're just wondering what it all means, and then we're closing it out, and
Yeah. And just want to
just
start
how it
off
is.
by thanking Kirwan's Game Store for letting us host the show, as always. It's
and thank anyone who came to our regional this past
Yeah.
weekend. It was a success.
a good turnout, and this is where we should probably get the top 8 photo, because me and you both top 8'd.
Yeah, we're great.
Yes.
One time.
Slippery Boggle could not defeat the Eldrazi Menace, but
And I got burned out by Chris Giuliano in about 7 minutes.
is this like a sweet pun for Magic player getting burned out?
I don't know. Chris Giuliano always burns me out.
Ooh. Also, for those of you that haven't been to our site, check it out. It's latest and greatest content. You got our videos that get posted. We've got the AK series, Accumulated Knowledge.
Coming up. And we're going to do another one, too. Everybody likes my videos.
There you
Not
go.
everybody, but,
Some people. Homeless
like
people.
some percentage of people like my videos enough that people watch them. So
Yeah.
we're going to probably do another one in the future.
The Falcon here, if you're interested in zombies, the latest article is just got out yesterday, so definitely take a look at that.
I like Josh's
Hair.
thumbnail. His article thumbnail is just him with that fantastic suit and hair.
Oh, it's
Looks
great.
great.
It's great.
It looks like he's watching you at a casino, like the pit boss or whatever. He literally looks just like,
Yeah,
are you counting?
the Falcon's great.
He'll just walk up to you. What's the
The cooler.
count?
Bring the cooler over.
He just walk up to you like, what's the count? And then just in the back room with a baseball bat. Whatever,
Yeah,
You ever see the movie 21?
of course.
Great movie.
Yeah, it's great. Well, also, to go along with this, we are the #1 place in sleeves, and we don't want you to forget that. So come check us out at kerwinsgamestore.com.
Oh, no.
What? You didn't... What?
What do you think I'm worried about?
What? Ooh, what are you worried about? I don't know.
I mean, I just derailed us again. I'm sorry. But what do you think I'm worried about?
You would be very good at, like, if they needed someone, if they came up with a better way for, like, to utilize our railroad structure, you would just hire you, Kevin the Derailer. And,
Yeah.
like, if we need to take the rail
But
tracks
what-
off.
What do you think? Look at the
That should
chat.
be a card, actually. Kevin the Derailer.
Look at the chat.
Okay.
And then you could look back at the Twitch page
Okay.
and tell me what I did wrong. I messed up.
I don't know.
I forgot to advertise the show on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
And I just realized I forgot to advertise the show on Facebook.
That means we're only going to have, like, 5 viewers? Maybe
Probably
10.
like 60
Yeah. That's
versus
okay.
like 180. I can do it right now, or we can just pretend it didn't happen and keep going.
Oh, we're going. We
All
are
right.
going. So before we get going into Pro Tour Amonkhet and we get in with Jerry, let's talk about, what we opened the show with on the cards that got benched. So let's not talk about banned cards, but what cards have you just had to, like, put on the bench? Like, you're just like, man, something changed. This hits the bench. I'm done with this card. Something happens where you're playing, like, a deck, and just all of a sudden, like, something comes out, changes it. Kind of like, I was talking with Josh a little bit yesterday, not Perugine, Roar, and we're talking about how, like, Grixis is kind of, like, went away a little bit. And, like, Infect is kind of went away a little bit. And, like, Infect's worst matchup was Grixis.
Yeah.
And, like, is it a prime time now for, like, Infect to come back? Like, Infect's
could
been put
be.
on the bench.
But what cards do you think have been benched, or what decks
What-
do you think have been benched?
What, for you, what card have you had to put on the bench?
Well, I haven't been playing Grixis Silver lately. I guess that's a bit of a segue.
Okay.
But I don't know. I guess it is on the bench at the moment. I haven't retired it, but it just hasn't felt great. In the past, I mean, Legacy, I benched Spell Pierce a lot. I tried to play Spell Snare instead.
Yeah.
Because it just seemed better against Counterbalance, and it also hit like Tarmogoyf and stuff.
I can't really,
Progress.
I can't really count breaking and entering as going on my bench because they kind of like just said he got banned from the league.
Yeah, they ejected.
They ejected
that combo.
So that one's out of there.
Spellqueller's on the bench. Yeah, Spellqueller's benched.
He's ready to come off the bench, I think.
And for those of you who read my last article, Spellqueller is passed out in the upstairs bathroom. You probably didn't read my articles. I don't think you're in the target audience for my fandom.
Yeah, probably not. I can only tolerate so much per week.
And most of the time that you're around me, you're
over.
getting paid to be around me.
If I don't know if that's what I'm getting paid for, because if that's the case, then they need a return on their investment.
You're not getting paid specifically to be my handler.
Are you like talking about like hazard duty pay? Should I get paid more to
No,
be around
I'm just saying that it happens that most of the time you're around me, you're also like being paid for what you're doing at the time.
Okay.
You don't voluntarily hang out with me.
Well, yeah, because every time we hang out together, it's either through a Magic tournament, through work, or through basketball. Mm-hmm. And you very seldom come over to test or come over to hang out.
And at work, we're working. At a Magic tournament, I'm working you. And at a basketball, I'm working you.
Oh, man.
So we're all working, just different types of work.
Two of those three things are correct. I'll let that should be a straw poll.
I still can't believe you bounce the ball between my legs.
Yeah.
Who do you think you are?
I don't know. Going around stealing hearts? Is that where you're going, Jesse J there?
Is your jar of hearts, Christina Perry?
Christina Perry, yeah. Well,
I know someone who actually chose to see Christina Perry live and made a trip of it.
Wow.
And that's cool. Whatever. I respect it. It's just I didn't know that anybody was that into it.
Yeah. Crisscross through the legs, nothing but net. All right, let's get on to it here. We get too crazy. We're going to get into it. Boom! Mr. Jerry Thompson. Number 3 and the number 1. 3 Pro Tour top 8s, number 1 finish.
And 2 Grand Prix championships as well.
Just to go along with some icing on the cake, partridge in a pear tree, if you will, of SCG accomplishments.
The hands-down best Star City Games player of all time.
Ooh, I like that. You think it was ever questioned, or
I think it's?
Do you think this cements it, even though it's not an SCG tournament?
This has nothing to do with it. I mean, obviously, this is an insane accomplishment, but it doesn't really, do anything for. Because I mean,
so bear with us.
Tom Ross was a Pro Tour top 8 years and years ago, right?
Sure.
I mean, you got Brad and Majors who play on SCG, but they don't count as.
Yeah, it's kind of different. They it's their second tier. They're SCG pros, but they kind of still the Pro Tour means more to them.
The 3 people in question, it was like a poll. It was Tom Ross, Todd Anderson, and Joe Lissette. And Jerry Thompson, sorry. Joe Lissette was the 4th one.
Okay.
It was Jerry, Tom, and Todd. And I think that I voted for Jerry. I think Jerry won. Okay. I think that he's clearly the winner, but...
But, those are, not to take this away, because obviously if I voted, I would be voting for Jerry, too. Mm-hmm. But, is that those kind of things can be kind of popularity contests, too.
Well, it was just who's the best SCG player of all time?
Yeah, but somebody might, if there's anyone teetering, and they're just voting blindly without actually having statistics and facts. One of the things I really like about when the Hall of Fame comes out, and for those of you that are here to actually get the content from the Pro Tour, we're going to get into that. We just got to take a second because this is such a big deal to Jerry and I think to us because, you said, he's a cool dude and
my favorite Magic player.
He's one of mine, if not. I've had such good conversations with Jerry too about Magic, just not at a Magic table.
Yeah, he's definitely blown my mind a few times.
So, what I really love about the Hall of Fame discussions is not only do you see both sides of the coin where people are fighting for people, but also bringing to the table factual information and statistics that you can actually base an opinion off of. Because just being hey, he's got this, this, and this, you can, look at that and make, a quick decision. But talking about how many years this person's at, what his percentage rate, how many Grand Prix, going in depth into all these statistics, I think really gives people a greater perspective on what's going on. And I just want to say I think this is not only the best accomplishment he's ever had, but this trophy right here symbolizes his entirety of his Magic career.
Yeah.
I mean, this right here, in my
this
opinion,
is validation, vindication, whatever you want to call it. This is it.
This right here puts him in the Pro Tour Hall of Fame, in my opinion. I know this is a definitely a debatable thing, and maybe we'll save that for another time.
A win is awesome. A lot of people have a win, though.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't have 3 and don't have the devoted time in the community and have an SCG.
I think that he needs one more to be a shoo-in. I mean, I'd vote for him.
Was that a shoe-in Nakamura?
I'll never have enough pro points to vote for him, but this weekend,
maybe.
Daddy's closing in on silver, and by closing in, I mean I'm 40% of the way there.
Okay, we're getting there. We're mostly here for the banter.
I think everyone is. See, I've identified the demographic of people that watches our show,
or the demographic that actually types into our chat.
Those might be the most aggressive people, and the silent majority actually just likes the content. That's also possibly true.
Yeah.
Who do we pander to?
Everyone.
You can't pander to everyone. That's the definition of pandering.
Tim and Ed.
It's
Tim, the savior. Tim Bach, the savior of the business.
The savior of the business. Yeah. I said we should have a shrine to him. Just put a little Weiss Schwartz
Andre has one
Force of Will
silver
card down at his feet.
All right, so
show your respect.
Let's get on. Here we go. Hit him with the beautiful bean footage. Here's our top 8. I'm gonna get out of the way because
first place, $50,000. Well deserved. Ha ha ha. This is an inside joke for Jerry if he ever watches this.
We're getting hosted.
Well deserved.
We're getting hosted. Thanks, Andrea.
A well deserved or hard earned $50,000 for Jerry Thompson.
Wow.
Second place, Yu Watanabe, $20,000. My second favorite Magic player.
Okay.
Third place, Ken Yukihiro with $15,000. I like the fighting stance.
He might just have like the best bubbly smile at the Pro Tour.
He is quietly amassing a resume.
Yeah. He's got 3
now.
now.
Magic player.
He's got 3 top 8s.
Once I finish the top 8, I gotta go off on something.
Okay.
Fourth place, Martin Mueller with $12,500, and now, well, beep. Whatever. You know what I mean. Fifth place, $10,000, Chris Fennell, who went 14-2 in the Swiss portion of the tournament. So, at a gathering after day 1 of GP Richmond, right before the week before the Pro Tour, played some Magic trivia, and I was fortunate enough to have my opponents be Fennell and Ray Tautic, 2 awesome limited players. Okay. And I said if this was team draft instead of trivia, they might actually carry me and we might actually win. And it was trivia, and we lost to some dude who knew every single creature that had base power up to 10/10, and was just wandering around the room, just like spouting them off and giving other people answers because he didn't even care. He was just yelling wildly. He was like, "Sky Shroud Behemoth!"
Oh wow,
it was crazy.
That's the one with fading, right?
Yes, fading 2 or whatever. Yeah. Sixth place, $9,000, and he's definitely due. Mark Tobias from Team Eureka, German.
Yeah.
Played against him. He played against Owen, actually, but we played against the German team at the World Cup, and he definitely impressed. He's very good. Seventh place, my friend and yours.
Yes.
New York native, Mr. Christian Calcano, the definition of the grinder.
Long time coming. Literally, like, just... Out of all the players here, he is like the one person that I was just so excited for to be in the top 8. Everyone else, I guess Mark, this was his first one as well.
Yeah.
And those 2 players, this was their first top 8. So I think, like, there's nothing like the first one, right? And the fact that, like, Calc's been so close so many times at the Pro Tour and just had, like, lots of great records going into the last couple, we call it the championship rounds in boxing. Mm-hmm. And just to see him break through, those of you that got to watch the coverage, you got to see the pour out of emotions that just led to the interview with BDM. And BDM's super close with him, too, because they're both New York relatives, New York Met fans.
BDM was neutral ground, and neutral ground was where Calcano started playing.
Yeah, it's just New York through and through. So really pumped to see him in there.
And 8th place, $6,000, Eric Froelich.
Efro just cementing the Hall of Fame legacy.
Just silently, quietly sneaking into 8th place there. Another Pro Tour top 8 for him.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that, like, doesn't quite get the, I don't want to say doesn't get the recognition because he's a Hall of Famer, right? But doesn't quite, when you go to unless it's a Team GP, when you go to, like, a Pro Tour, he's never, like, in at least I've seen, like, drafts go, like, Pro Tour drafts. Mm-hmm. He's never in, like, the first 5 to 10 picks. He's like at the ladder, and I just think he's someone that's. We talked about like underrated, overrated, and we kind of go into this a lot.
So
hey, thanks a lot. We appreciate that. I think he's just underrated.
Sorry. Efro?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that his old attitude used to frustrate a lot of people, and I think that people aren't super invested in his success as a consequence of that.
Okay.
And I think they should get over it because I think Efro is great.
Yeah.
But I do think that is a symptom of how he used to, be a little bit salty on social media and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. He's changed.
Yeah, he's changed for
Being
sure.
Being married, I think, changed some stuff.
But some people have long memories,
Well, yeah.
And I think that the people who you see the outpouring of support for in things like the chat and on social media and stuff, you really have to have like a special sort of horse in the race to post about it, I think, because it takes some effort to post about something.
Yeah, like you can see something on coverage and be rooting for the person, but to get on Facebook and to see how many people are like, Calc made it, holy cow, top 8, And
I made a post about Jerry, and I made a post about Calc, and
yeah, I did the same, and that takes time to do as opposed to just clicking on a link well, who will win, like SCG or something like that.
And I was like, yo, Eric Efro was gassed when I saw he top 8'd, and I saw Fennell was gassed too.
I just thought this top 8 was just awesome.
It is. It's one of the most stacked top 8s we've had in recent memory.
Yeah.
But so tell me
we
something.
say that a lot, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
And is that just the fact that, not to get in our last topic, but the fact that,
Magic players are good?
Magic players are good. And, they're going to get there. It just takes time.
So, tell me this, though. You played on the Magic the Gathering Pro Tour.
Yeah, a few times. Is
I
this like me retiring?
No.
Okay.
I mean, your deck selection is you retiring.
Oh my! You actually, quote unquote, yesterday, Dan, I may play your exact list this weekend.
Well, you have so much information, and I have none. I have no time to test.
This is true.
For someone who only works 13 or 14 hours a week, I'm so busy. It's crazy.
I know your personality, man.
Yeah.
Softball, after school softball leagues, they take time.
They are. They do take time. But anyway. Why does third place get $15,000 and fourth place gets $12,500? Every single time there's a Pro Tour, I'm going to complain about this. I'm going to complain about this until they change it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It doesn't make any sense.
So nothing makes sense besides first place.
Well, no. Second place makes sense.
I don't think so. Because second place, you're getting an additional $5K and then the disparity. So the disparity is $5K, which is 25% from third place. And the disparity from first to second is 60%?
Yeah, you can argue that this is wrong or whatever.
Yeah. It's definitely wrong. Okay, so to get in a little bit more, we'll bring this down so y'all can see, just to start off with the bottom 4 here. Chris
Second
Fennell,
place is 40% of
we have 6,075. It goes up 1,500, and for whatever reason, they couldn't throw in the extra 500 here, so it's only 1,000 from 6th to 5th, even though the rest goes up 1,500.
It shouldn't.
Maybe it should be 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, 15, 15, 30, 50.
No, because
easy.
They don't want to spend that much money, so whatever. Don't make it 10,000. Take this 10,000 and put it here, put some here, and make it
9,000.
Either 15 and 15 or 14 and 14 or 12-5, 12-5, whatever. But then you redistribute this money here. From here and here, and make it 8 across the board, or 75.
But it's nonsense.
I'd rather they all get paid 75 than one of them gets paid 10 and the other one gets paid 6. It's
okay,
so
here's the question I'm going to ask you right now. We could have used this for Fact or Fiction for a little bit. Winning a Grand Prix gets $10,000.
Yep.
Is it harder to win a Grand Prix or top 8 a Pro Tour?
It's pretty close. Win a Grand Prix?
Win a Grand
Prix. First place?
I don't think it's close.
16 and 2?
I don't think it's close because you have to get invited to one first off. And I think the process of getting invited to the Pro Tour and then beating a field that is only studs. When you play a Grand Prix, or I'll say this, when I play a Grand Prix, they've been getting a little bit deeper and, the fields have gotten bigger, but the competition's kind of rised up. I will say, in the Grand Prix that I've top 8'd, there was, out of the 4 of them, I would say maybe only half. I've played 3 or 4 legit real name pros, staples of the tournaments. Mm-hmm. Not to say that the other players were not great or were not good, but when you play this, you're not getting rounds off. You might get throughout the entire Pro Tour, the top 16 rounds, you might get 1 or 2 rounds where you're not playing against like a silver level pro or above.
Sure.
And that's why I'm saying like top 8 to me, not only on your resume, I think more Magic players respect Pro Tour top 8s than a Grand Prix win, but it's just, in my opinion, so much harder.
Of course.
So yeah, so you agree it's so much harder. So why is the pay not that reflected by that?
Well, where do you want this money to go, right? That becomes the question, and then it like opens us up to like almost a whole other topic, right?
True, but I think the amount of money we're talking about is so minimal.
Well,
you're talking about
it's
making Mark here's 1,000, and then we're talking 4,000, 20. We're talking about $7,000 to just make this one clear cut.
If you all get $10,000 for top 8 in a Pro Tour, that's the same amount as you get for winning a Grand Prix.
Correct.
And you argue that it's harder. Shouldn't it be 15 or 12 or whatever?
It should. What my argument is, it should be at least be the same.
All right, then don't pay platinums anymore.
All right. Well, that has nothing to do with it. If you don't play platinums, then they won't go to the tournament.
Yeah, but where is the
money's got to come from somewhere. They have money, Kevin. There's money somewhere.
So it's a giant toy corporation, right? That owns Wizards.
No scrubs.
It's a giant.
Yeah, exactly, Emord. You have to win at multiple formats too.
You know, it's probably harder. Whatever. That is not really the point. The point is that this is just. I guess the difference between 5th and 8th, and the difference between 3rd and 4th is, I assume that if you ask them why they did it, the answer would be to preserve the integrity of the later rounds of the tournament.
Sure.
As people might play it out if they know that they're withstanding, like.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, Fennell knows he's locked for 10 grand.
Yeah, he was actually playing for the team. That's what I heard. Mm-hmm. And now that he did that, you know, Shaheen Zaharani is queued for Kyoto.
Which is cool.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm glad I'm not on a Team Series team, because if they queued me for Kyoto, I would have to be like, yo, I'm not going.
Why not?
Because I'm just not going to go. I'm going to chase silver and then not go to the Pro Tour that I get qualified for by going to silver.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm just whatever.
Wow.
You get another one you get an invite for next year too, right?
I don't get an invite for anything.
If you get silver, you get
you get an invite for this year and an invite for that year.
Yeah, so just
lock gold.
Incinerate the one. Who won a GP 1 or 2 weeks before Orlando, and I had no idea who he was. I wonder who that was.
There you go. Perfect example. All right, so getting into a little bit more, let's get into some of the decks. Was there anything you wanted to reference before we get into the decks? Kind of talk about the money. We could sit here and argue and debate this all day. I feel like this should just 5th through 8th should be equal, in my opinion. 3rd and 4th should be equal. And
I don't care if it's all 6,000. It just should be equal.
Agreed. Like, I don't think it should be 6,000, but I will.
I don't either. But I'd rather it's 6,000 across the board.
It should be equal.
Than 10,000 to one and 6,000 to another one. It's crazy.
Because this is just leaves like this right here is just silly.
Even this is really stupid. Like, this is kind of stupid, but like 7th to 8th is really, really, really stupid.
Yeah, and the fact that they just I could see if they were going to go up 1,500 each way, because then it makes sense, right? This would be 10-5, and then you'd go up to 2 grand, or make this 15, like this should be, and like 20 grand. No one's going to complain. You got 20 grand, right? And the first prize, you want that to be like some big blockbuster. But if they were even the only reason they don't take away from this is because they want this to be like the 50 grand. They want to sell the most money they can, you know? Sell that as like the prize for the tournament. But even if they were to take 5 away from the top and put it in 25 would be second place, like that'd be fine.
Do I really? But your seeding going into top 8 should be enough incentive to try the last couple rounds.
Yeah.
Don't you really want the placements going into top 8 of the Pro Tour? No. I want all the people who top 8 and lose in top 8 to get paid the same amount of money. I think paying people out on tiebreakers is stupid.
Yeah, it's.
I think that the only reason why people don't
appreciate the follow
is because of like quote unquote gambling laws or whatever. Like that's why you don't skins game people. Like it would make so much more sense if Magic just paid you out per win. You can't do that because of gambling laws, but like you can do that in the top 8. Like that's when you get around it because you say, oh, top 8, same price. You know?
Yeah.
You can actually pay it out that way in the top 8.
All right.
And they still don't. This makes me mad.
Yeah, let's get into some decks. Let's get into some decks. Let's talk about the deck that won it. What's your initial impression with this deck when you first saw it?
Just a deck, man.
It came out. There was a version of it. It was a mono black aggro version, which wasn't the same as zombies. And then it kind of hit Moto. and was all over, and people were starting to try it out. Do you think this not only was a good choice for the tournament, but was something that was maybe overlooked by a lot of the pro teams?
Yeah, I think it was played by a lot of people. I don't think it was really overlooked. It was beating it up online in the week leading up to the Pro Tour, so people told me at GP Richmond, multiple people told me they thought this deck was good. I played against Todd Anderson in the PDQ, and he was playing it.
How'd that go?
Father Ulamog came home.
Father Ulamog?
Yeah, he came home, and Todd got sent packing, unfortunately.
Okay. What'd you think of Jerry talking about in the interview that he thought Lost Legacy is terrible versus Aetherworks Marvel decks? I found that interesting. Like, I understand the reference, and I was reading an article the other day from Zvi about zombies, talking about how you can't really afford to take turns off.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's not really sure if, like, he has Lost Legacy, or excuse me, he has Dispossess instead of Lost Legacy because he thinks Aetherworks Marvel is, like, the actual problem. If you get to a point where they can actually hardcast Ulamog, either you're so wide, with your creatures it doesn't matter and they're going to lose anyway.
Well, most of them don't have Kozilek's return, so
true.
I would agree with that. You're so wide that the Ulamog doesn't win them the game.
Yeah.
But I think that generally, Dispossess is better. Like, someone Lost Legacy my Ulamogs is kind of weird, but, like, it just takes all these stupid Ulamogs out of my hand. I get to draw a card, which is awesome.
I guess the bigger picture is it really depends on what version of the deck you're playing. Because if you're playing the version that has 4 Chandra Flamecallers, you take their Ulamog and they just hit a Flamecaller and then kill all your stuff.
You also can just take their Ulamog and their Flamecaller and like that happened to Calcano in top 8. Just spend so much time playing stupid Lost Legacies that you're just dying to a huge tireless try.
Well, that's the thing too. Like with playing the Marvel decks, like if your opponent's not playing creatures and they're transgressing the mind, and then they Lost Legacy you, and then they play like some creature, you're just not under any pressure and you're making land drops. And so like I think that's conducive to what a lot of these decks were built to do, is like survive in the mid-range game, even if they don't draw Aetherworks Marvel.
Yeah, I mean Rogue Refiner is a sweet beatdown creature.
Yeah.
3 power for 3 mana, replaces itself.
Yeah.
It's a perfect creature to attack with.
You go Servant into Refiner into Virtuoso, like they could just be dead in a couple turns. So I'm not a huge fan, like I said, of Lost Legacy. I think Dispossess is the way to go.
I think Dispossess is fine, and I think Transgress the Mind is good.
It's kind of cool too. Like I don't know if this deck really cares about it, but like Dispossess also hits Torrential Gearhulk. So like for decks that maybe not even, I don't know if Zombies really cares about Torrential Gearhulk that much, but like being able to hit that's kind of a big deal.
But Zombies is not nearly as aggressive as I thought it was.
No, like
it's like it has a lot of mid-range slants, and it can like grind very well.
Yeah.
And it has a decent late game.
It's weird because like a deck that has 8 1-drop creatures and 8 2-drop creatures, you'd like typically pinpoint as like a super aggressive deck, and like whereas like sometimes you can actually just have those draws where you're like 1-drop, 2-drop, and go nuts. Like the draws that I've seen that make this deck, like you're talking about, a kind of a mid-range monster, is when they get the Crypt Breaker out and they just start drawing cards, and you're just like, man, this is just. Not only do they have a board presence now, but they're just like advancing. They're advancing their board state while accumulating cards, and like getting to their powerhouse cards like Dark Salvation and Diregraph Colossus. So I think this deck is good.
I've played a bunch against Zombies Bull, but I haven't played with it yet. I probably wouldn't play with it. I'm just gonna play Marvel with Glimmers and Gearhulks until they rip it out of my hands.
I'm so glad you finally fell into the trap of Aetherworks Marvel. And it's a good trap to be falling into these days.
It's just like the Rug Marvel deck kind of feels like Splinter 20. Like you just play like tricks,
and
like value creatures and removal spells and a couple counter spells, and then you just play a 4-mana sorcery that wins the game some percentage of the time.
Yeah, I plan on not playing this deck either, although it looks cool and I might sleeve it up for just to test it out a little bit. But I'm also on Marvel. I've been trying some cool things. Descend Upon the Sinful has been really good in testing.
Zombie, zombie, zombie
So,
in your head.
this is my I'm not impressed face by Kevin. I need to get the VD post on there.
Yo, this card is great. Aethersphere Harvester is sweet.
Okay, why is it sweet?
Just because it's so different than
Mardu protection.
Because like Dread Wanderer crews it, but it is so different than Dread Wanderer, as like a threat and just as a magic card, that it's just awesome that you can diversify that way.
You know it's sweet? When your opponent goes turn 2 Metallic Mimic, and then you go, oh wait, I have a Dissenter's Deliverance, kill it.
Yo, I just realized Metallic Mimic there's a face in there.
Yeah, it's right here. And there's a zombie. It's a zombie.
It's a
Zombie.
Zombie. Diagraph Colossus is cool.
I have never seen Diagraph Colossus get so big before this weekend. There's like literally Fennell was playing them, and like I was watching. Shout out to you, Chris Fennell. I thought your play during the top 8 was actually very good. Not that it shouldn't be, but I mean, it actually like I could sit there. There's a lot of times where a plays will go over my head, and I won't see it in the moment, and then I'll watch it back, and I'll be like, whoa, that was cool. There's plays where I'm like watching Chris play, and like he's so in tune to what's in his opponent's deck that he's like holding back the Diagraph Colossus and stuff, and it just all made sense. It was like the Legos.
He's a limited player. He's playing around tricks.
Yeah.
He's playing like White Black Zombies is like the best draft deck ever. It makes sense that Fennell is playing it. Like it makes perfect sense.
It's like when you like close your eyes and grab a bunch of Legos and you put them all together.
What do you think of guys? Think of people talking about putting Void Winnower in the Marvel decks for the mirror?
I tried it, and I don't think it's bad, but I also don't think it's good. So I think part of the argument people were talking about was bringing it in for the mirror, but also bringing it in for protection against Lost Legacy and Dispossess. So this way you have another big Eldrazi to hit. I think obviously if you hit it, it's like game over. But is that any different than playing the other Ulamog? Like if you go turn 4 Marvel, like no, Ulamog. Most lists play 3, and we'll get into that. There was a split and the differences between the Marvels, but I think at this current juncture, more than likely, I'd say 80 to 90% of the Marvel decks moving forward will have 3 Ulamogs and not 4.
Yep.
And so, if you're going to put a spot in your board or in the main deck for the Void Winnower, is the 4th Ulamog just always a better hit? And I think like more times than not, it's going to be. And so I just think like Void Winnower is also not indestructible. So
it can't be Harness Lightning.
It can't be Harness Lightning, but
it can be never to return.
It can be never to return. It can be Ruinous Path. Fumigate.
Descend upon the sinful.
Yes. Well, that gets rid of Ulamog too, but sure. You're descending me.
No, I'm just. That's your thing.
Flamecaller is gas. Agreed with that.
Flamecaller is gas.
All right, let's get in. Which Marvel is...
Brad Nelson, again, broke that. Flamecaller was Genesis's thing, and that was his idea.
Yeah, I don't know if it was him, Majors, whoever on the team, but, like, let's get into this deck real quick. Martin Mueller's deck, Team Genesis' deck. I was asked, Pro Tour weekend, what card was the most influential card of the Pro Tour to me? And I said Chandra Flamecaller.
Yeah.
It's a card that when it first came out, everyone was like, man, this card is awesome, it's busted, and it never really found a home. And, you know, kudos to the team, who, by the way, killed the Pro Tour, Team Genesis. Mm-hmm. Not only did they did too, Musashi, there was a couple other teams that did really well. But as far as, like, Genesis with their standard deck, they really killed it. And I think, like, Chandra was the absolute perfect card for this deck. And I think if all of the other Marvel decks that made the top 8 would have considered this, they would maybe not have 4, and I think 4 is maybe a lot, but would definitely have 1 or 2.
Yep.
And it's a card that kills zombies and deals with aggressive decks, is good control finisher, and does what you want as far as discarding cards and drawing. Oh, you have an Ulamog in your hand, you can't cast it? Let's pitch it. Let's draw into some gas.
Marvel activations are so much better for this deck than any of the other decks.
Yeah.
Like, this deck marvels, and if they miss on Ulamog, they hit a big Chandra. The deck I'm playing marvels, and if they miss on Ulamog, they hit Glimmer of Genius.
Sure. Or Torrential Gearhulk.
Well, Torrential Gearhulk is dope, but, like,
yeah,
they
but
hit
you gotta
Glimmer
have
Genius,
one Glimmer Genius in your sideboard.
or Magma Spray, or Sensor.
Yeah, we're still doing it. I'm glad you're here, too, with us.
Yo, I spun Marvel in response to Verdurous Gearhulk and censored it.
Yeah, that happens. Sensor, man. We could do, like, a topic just on that card. Do you know that it's being played in Modern now? Scape Shift decks are playing it.
Was Andrew Harris playing? He was playing it here last night, right?
Yeah.
I
don't know.
Monday night.
Here.
Monday night it was.
I was a ball. But, I mean, that card has just, like, changed the way. Like, I've been playing some matches on Magic the Gathering Online, and just people are just playing around it, and it's like changing like the way standard like games are being played. It's kind of crazy. Do Glimmer and Chandra work together? Yeah. They're kind of good. I just don't think there's enough room in this deck to be able to facilitate both. And it's one of those things that if you have Glimmer, you kind of want at least one Gear Hulk. Especially in this version with Harness. You know, the other versions are running the Dissenter's Deliverance as well as Censor. So, but I think this list was great. I don't know about the sideboard with double Sphinx. I think they were worried about the blue-red deck. I think that was definitely something on their radar. Any of the control decks that were going to do well. I think blue-red was one of the decks not a lot of people showed up with.
Manglehorn is a guesser.
Manglehorn, I think it's best served in the Delirium Traverse the Uvenwald package, like the Sultai decks that Puzzle Quest was playing. And I think it did show a lot of work of just like, forget if it hits like a Puzzle Knot or it hits a Marvel if they miss or whiff or whatever. But the fact that like the Marvel comes into play tapped, the games that you're bringing Manglehorn in
super good.
Are so weird because you go from like game one where you like know the jig is up. The only thing you're playing around maybe is Censor, but there's no hard counters, so it's like a race to get to Marvel. Whereas game two, it's like a control. It's a control game. It's like who can do the most without tapping out, and that's why Glimmer is just like you saw that with Yuya coming in second of just like dominating the field in the mirrors.
Well, Yuya, I don't think actually did very well. I think he was like 6 or 5 and 5 or something.
Really?
Yeah.
He couldn't be 5 and 5. He wouldn't have made the top 8.
Or 6 and 4.
He's 6-0'd? He's 6-0 limited?
So. Maybe 7 and 3. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But
Kevin hitting us with the facts.
Yuta Takahashi.
Yeah, he went 9 and 1.
9 and 1 with the same deck.
I knew you were gonna bring him up. You wanna know why?
He's my dude.
Because he's the Fairies Master.
He is.
He's your dude, and he's gas. I was very surprised.
You know what his Twitter handle is? It's just at
Vendilion Clique. So I was kind of upset when I saw that he went 9 and 1, just because like he's usually you can like lock him in for 2-1s at drafts, and it must have just fell apart for him in both drafts. Like I don't know what he finished, but I'm assuming it was like
is crazy.
10-5 or maybe even 11 or 10-6. Excuse me, 9-6. 10-6. 10-6.
He can only lose
so much.
He can only lose 7 rounds at most, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like limited had to really fall apart for him, which is kind of disheartening because I always like to see him do well.
9 and 1 is insane.
9 and 1 is great. That means your deck was good. So
I know a guy who 8-2'd the Pro Tour with Jeskai. He's only ever played one Pro Tour in his life.
Oh yeah.
And he 8-2'd the Pro Tour with Jeskai.
Jeskai, I don't know about Jeskai. I've been beating it up online a lot.
It's not good. It's
not
good in Standard. It's not good in Modern. You know what's good in Modern? Red-Green Scape Shift. It's the best deck in Modern.
Yeah, I don't know about that. We're back on Standard here. We're going to the next deck up, Ken Yukahiro. For those of you that didn't watch the Pro Tour, you need to go back and watch the first match versus Ifro.
He
played so well and drew even better.
He crushed it.
Like, I felt bad watching that match because, like, first of all, this I know LSV put a stat out. I think this was the first Pro Tour that someone in the top 8 had 4 of the Bone Pickers, and they were the only 4 registered in the entire Pro Tour. And this was pretty sick. So, yeah, he just straight took it to him. That was just unbelievable. And I'm pretty sure that happened to a lot of people this weekend that just got caught off guard by this super fast, aggressive deck.
I think there was a game against Jerry where he went, push your guy.
Game 1.
Play Bone Picker on turn 2.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh.
Game 1 was game 1 the one that Jerry grasped the snake instead of the... Because game 1's the one he lost, correct? And then he 3-1'd him?
I don't know because I was playing in a PPDQ.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
But I watched in between rounds. I watched everything I could.
There was one game, and
I watched him crush Ifro. I watched Fennel get crushed. I watched Calcano get crushed.
Oh, wow. What do you think of Ifro complaining about the noise in his headphones after being beat down? I think that there probably was noise in the headphones. I'd like to give Eric the benefit of the doubt while also stating that after you lose, it's, on camera the way Eric lost. it's probably a little disheartening to him too. So Jerry also complained that he had a headache. I don't know if that had to do with the headphones. So
did I win the PPDQ? No, I lost in the finals.
Yeah, you
to
did.
Mono Black Zombies.
To Zombies.
Got dispossessed and transgressed. And the best card in Marvel, in my opinion, is Nissa's Renewal. I think that card's insane.
Why do you like that card so much?
Why do I like it so much? Because it gives you a turn,
Okay.
and it lets you hardcast your Ulamogs.
Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah. 7 life's real. The only thing I don't like about it is it doesn't affect the board immediately. And like, yes, putting lands into play, gaining 7 life is real. But like sometimes like you'll be playing against Mardu vehicles and you just do that and then you die.
Well, you just do that, and then it gives you another turn, and then you hardcast Ulamog, and then they die.
Sometimes it gives you another turn, but sometimes you're in a position where you have to like cast that or you lose, and if you cast that, you lose. And it is another 6 mana spell.
But like, if you're that far behind, how many cards are going to save you where that doesn't?
Yeah, I guess I'm making more of a reference to my Marvel deck as opposed to the normal Marvel decks, and I shouldn't do that because most of them don't have the Sweepers main. And
no, but they have the decks I'm talking about have Harness and Magma Spray to work their way up to Nissa's Renewal.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The headphone, I don't really understand the whole headphone nonsense. I think like there should just be a judge at the table. I don't know what they're using the headphones for. They're trying to block out the noise.
They're trying to block out, I guess, any of the noise from the commentator's booth, which is somewhat near the feature match area.
Yeah.
Or like some of the noise from the people in the feature match area, like milling around. The headphones, you just put them on and they just play white noise.
Yeah? I don't know. That's weird. Big DVS, just to get into that real quick for you here. GFABs was playing Jason Chung, and I believe what happened, there was a long and extensive judge call on this, that there was an Ulamog in GFAB's hand. And don't quote me on this because I'm just going off of what I saw on the Pro Tour, but I believe he lost Legacy'd him or whatever, and GFABs revealed his hand, and I think Jason took the ones out of his deck, but didn't take the one from his hand. Maybe said something, or there was that was the controversial thing going on there. I don't know if he missed the trigger or what. So, but that's kind of what was going on with that. I don't know if he just missed it, or if he said it or didn't take it, or what was really happening. But that was what was going on, and it ended up. It's crazy, but it ended up costing him the match. He would have beat GFABs that game, I believe.
There's a crowd watching. There's a crowd watching the Pro Tour in the same room, on a big screen, and the commentary is playing. So that's what the headphones are for.
Sure, but that never stopped them from doing this before.
There was always a different room.
No, there wasn't.
I mean, every Pro Tour I've been to was a different room.
Every Pro Tour I've been to, it's not been a different room. They've had what they do at the end of the hall, they go like, one side of it has all of the coverage equipment and stuff, and the other side is usually where they have like the lounge. They call it like the lounge. They have a couple TVs, and what they do is the TVs are turned down. They don't really have them really loud, and that's where the players after your round could sit down. Players that come in, people that want to just like cheer on their people, they can sit on and root for them. And they're usually like a little bit of a delay, but they've never had like headphones until like Worlds was the first time that they've had headphones, and I've never been to one where it's been a separate room. It's been far, so that it's been like a while away. So
am I going to SCG Charlotte? Probably not. I think I'm still trying to go to Vegas. That's game.
And that's game. All right, so real quick,
who's played more Pro Tours, Kevin or Dan? Dan. I think Dan has played like 6 or something, right?
I don't know, 6 or 7.
I've only played 2. He's way better at Magic than me, especially if you ask him. You can find that out. If you want to know who's better at Magic between me or Dan, just ask Dan.
There you go. Scoreboard. Scoreboard.
Just ask Dan and he'll tell you who's better.
Let's move on from this deck. But lastly, what do you think about the addition to the Black Delver, or AKA Bone Picker? Hello, Earth to Kevin.
I'm listening, man.
No, you're not.
No, I am.
All right. What do you think?
I think
it's your card. This should be your card from the set.
I don't know. I think
if
it's
anyone
fine.
likes it.
It's not really like Delver. It's weird. It makes something die. Like it's very strange. I don't know. I don't really know if it's good or not.
I just think
it's certainly good when you fatal push something and then play it on turn 2.
I think the deck is great, but I think it's unplayable if Zombies is one of the top 3 decks, because it struggled a lot versus Zombies.
What if you have turn 1 Bone Picker and Walking Ballista in your hand. Do you just zero your Ballista so you can have a 3-2?
I don't think so. Yeah, I guess it depends.
Against
I don't
control,
think
you do,
blind,
right?
I don't. No. Because then you just kill it. It's a 3-2. They just magma
It's a
spray.
3-2 flyer on turn 1.
Yeah, magma spray. You're dead.
What are you doing with a flipped Delver?
You just
it's a flipped Delver.
Versus control, you're not spewing cards away like that. 4-color Delver. Yes, I'm going to Vegas. I'll be doing Modern and Legacy. Not sure if I'm going to be playing 4-color Delver, but there's a chance of that. The deck that's not in the top 8, but they had a lot of people. Steinfield was bringing it up here. Sultai. Did you see this list? The Sultai Marvel list? The Brandon DeCandio.
The machine
version?
says it's not good.
Yeah. And we all trust the machine.
Yeah, the machine's never wrong.
The machine.
You know what
is
the
never
machine
wrong.
said after Richmond?
What did it say?
Zombies is the best deck.
That's crazy. How come you always say this on the show? You need to we need to just have a segment called The Machine.
I told Jerry, I said, after you told me that Zombies is good and I should take the Sensors and Glimmers out of my Marvel deck, my brother sent me the machine update, and the machine said exactly what Majors said, that Zombies is good. And Jerry's like, haha, Majors is the machine. And then the next weekend, he won the Pro Tour, and Majors got top 16. And the funniest thing about it was that Jerry won the Pro Tour with Zombies, and he beat Sensors and Glimmers in Marvel in the finals.
Sure.
And then Majors top 16 the Pro Tour with Marvel after saying that he didn't like Marvel.
That's hilarious. But you can tell, obviously, with their list, whether Brad figured out Flame Caller or whatnot. But with playing 4 Chandra's Flame Callers, you mean it.
There's only one way to go.
And that's all.
You're aggro.
You're just lighting it up. Which, just talk about a quick part with Aetherworks Marvel. Their version of the deck is the only version, in my opinion, that Marvels right away all the time. Because of the cost of having the 4.
A Planeswalker and Sorcerer Speed, etc.
Yeah, you have to do it. All the other ones, you saw wait for your turn, wait for them to your opponent to commit an attack, so this way you get a little bit more value if Ulamog gets to show up and block.
It's weird playing Chandra if you go to their turn, let them Marvel, and then you they'll let them cast something, and then you Marvel.
Yeah.
And you're putting Chandra into play. They're all right, attack it. Oops.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to do it? It's crazy.
Yeah, it is weird.
To answer your question, Greg, or Grego3, whatever you want to call it, you can just call yourself Daddy. The answer is
I need my bat.
the machine is
It's a machine.
It's
We don't talk about the machine.
it's a statistical supercomputer.
Yes.
That is operated by someone who may or may not be in this chat at this very moment.
That's true.
Or it's a name you can give to Michael Majors because that guy never loses.
That is also true. Oh man. All right. Before we move on to the next segment here, Fact or Fiction, Chris Fennell, we brought up his name. You talked about it looks like a limited deck, not bad limited deck, just a limited deck.
No, the best draft deck ever.
Best draft deck ever. What do you think is the selling point to want to splash white? And let's not talk about just the cards. Obviously, we talk about Anguish Unmaking. But do you think that it's worth it? Is the deck in need of having to splash the white, or is it not?
I don't think it needs it. I think that this version is good too. It's a little different, but
Thanks
it's
for the
good.
follow. All right. What don't you like about the splash? Just the mana in general? You don't like messing with the
Guild
mana?
Gates.
You like 22 swamps, like Jerry said? Just 22 swamps and foil zombie tokens?
22 swamps with the same art in Westvale Abbeys. Black Dragon Shield sleeves so you don't need stupid flip cards for your Westvale Abbeys.
Okay. Fair.
That's how you play the Mono Black Zombies. That's the only way you play Mono Black Zombies.
Okay. I just I don't know. I like Gideon. I like these cards. Anguish Unmaking, I think, is actually one of the premier removal spells that really gained a lot with not only Marvel coming back with Ulamog, but Westvale Abbey. We saw it not only in this deck, but we saw it in the Crypto the Right deck that came out.
You know what card sucks right now?
What card?
Unlicensed Assembly.
Is it on the bench?
Yeah.
It's going to the bench?
It's on the bench.
Man, that's
You know why it's not good, right?
Why is it not good?
Because it doesn't kill...
Johnny
It either kills a zombie that costs the same amount or way less than it did, or it kills an Ulamog and then doesn't kill the Ulamog.
What?
Sometimes it kills
I've died to it. I've literally put an Ulamog in play off Marvel, and then my Martyr opponent just casted in License Disintegration to kill me.
You were at 3?
Yeah.
Well, then you should have put Wood Reaver's Puzzle in play instead.
Yeah, but I'd be dead if I didn't exile the 2 creatures that were attacking me.
Oh, then you probably had to put the Ulamog in play and hope you didn't have it.
Yeah. Just hope and pray.
Well, you know what you could have done? You could have exiled his 2 artifact permanents. If he had only 2. And then, because it's a cast trigger, and then when it comes into play, there won't be any artifacts in play for Disintegration.
I could have.
I did that in a game with the deck, and it was crazy.
Still would have died. I would have died so many ways, man.
You can, like, exile their stuff, and they don't remember to float mana. They can't tap Spire for colored mana anymore. Like, there's all sorts of cool things that can happen with that.
Yeah, I've been in a situation like that before, so... Hey, thanks a lot. We appreciate the follow. All right, let's move on. We're gonna go into a segment here called Fact or Fiction. We're gonna need some help from everybody tuning in. We're gonna go over a topic, and then you're gonna let us know whether you think it's fact or fiction.
Facts.
So, we got the first one coming out here. As we do this, let's go back to our website page here. So the first one is Aetherworks Marvel will win Grand Prix Montreal. Is that fact or is that fiction?
I think it's fact.
All right, hit me with give me some knowledge about this. Why?
I think it's the best deck after the Pro Tour.
Okay.
I think that people will play zombies as well, but I think people are going to try pretty hard to beat zombies. I think that Marvel has a lot of different ways that you can do it. Like, you can only zombies one of 2 ways. You can mono black zombies, or you can black white zombies.
Okay.
You can Bant Marvel, you can 4-color Marvel, you can Sultai Marvel, you can Chandra Marvel, you can Bounty the Lux of 4-mana Chandra Marvel.
Insert Bubba Gump from Forrest Gump. Or shrimp stew, shrimp and potatoes.
Yeah. Shrimp Daddy, and Shrimp Toast. And you can do, Glimmer Gearhulk Marvel. So there's just a bunch of different ways you can do it. Did someone get benched?
Andre got benched.
What did he do?
He did. The Nightbot didn't like him, but he's in there. He's facting. All right, we're close here. We got 50-50 here. We're going to be talking about this for a couple minutes. We'll move on to the next one. I tend to agree with you. Fact. The card is just insane, and we're finally starting to see how powerful of a card it is. You know, we thought, after they got rid of Emrakul, it was going to just go away. And, I've been preaching to the choir forever since this card came out on, how good this card is. And I think we're still scratching the surface on things that we want to be doing with this card. With every set comes, kind of like Collected Company and Cord, more options.
Aetherworks Marvel is, the definition of a Dan Ward Magic card.
Okay.
It's like you consider yourself to be a good Magic player, but you just put your tournament outcome into the hands of variance, so you have something to blame when it all slips away.
Dang. Shots fired over here.
No, it makes sense, though, right?
Not really.
You like Marvel. You like the idea of Marvel.
Well, I like the idea of Marvel. I don't like the idea of you saying that
You like putting Ulamog into play. You like feeling powerful. You're just a powerful man.
Okay. I don't disagree with all those things. But I don't think that has anything to do with the fact that
I like controlling every little bit of thing I can. Marvel is not my type of card.
See, for you, I think it's you want to control things in Magic because you can't control your life.
Yeah, something like that.
And
that's a good way to describe it.
But I'm big in real life and big in Magic, so that's weird. And I like little green hexproof creatures. So, I don't know. I just think it works Marvel. We kind of went crazy on this one here. But I think it's just super powerful.
Why don't we have more votes?
I don't know.
Vote, 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 vote.
Go out and vote.
Go and vote. Rock the vote. Rock the vote.
And so, I guess where I'm going with this for Montreal, and not to say that it's going to just be the menace, where a lot of people are already, talking about, oh my God, this is awful. We lost Cat, and now we're getting Ulamog, whatever.
You want to have a moment of silence for Jeff Hoogland's Magic career?
Why?
Because he quit. He said, I
like how we're talking about actually something with the show, and you'll just come out of nowhere.
This is about the show. I promise.
Okay.
On Twitter, it said, Jeff Hoogland said, until WotC makes up or fixes the fact that Marvel and Eldrazi and Ulamog are legal at the same time, I'm not going to play Standard.
Okay.
Jeff Hoogland quit Standard as of after the Pro Tour.
Andre has said it's the best news in MTG history.
He's not going to start up again until Watson fixes their horror.
He's already stopped streaming for a while now.
Yeah,
so.
he was boycotting MTGO so he can play Hex.
Yeah.
I have no idea if Hex is a good game or not, but being a famous Magic player and boycotting MTGO just seems like you're shooting yourself in the foot.
All right. Well, we got the facts. The facts are in, and I think the audience, they tend to agree with us here at this point. So, 55.6% say that it's a fact. What?
Just a little bit of shade being thrown at the Hoog in our chat.
Montreal Stakes.
No,
Definitely
just
check that
people
out.
being like, people just be like, hey, he quit 3 times in 6 months.
Sure.
He streamed MTGO yesterday? Caught him! I'm going to say something on Twitter. I'm going to say you didn't quit. You're just playing possum.
Okay, next one.
Wait, well, who won? Fact 1, right?
Fact 1.
What, 5-4 or 6-5?
1 to the fact. 1 to the fact, all right? Next one.
To the fact! To the false.
Is it fact? Is it fiction? Mardu Vehicles is dead.
Mardu Vehicles is dead.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend.
God, we need to karaoke again. It's been a while.
Could be the one for me.
All right, fiction. I'm going to go off on this one. It is not dead. In fact, it was the #1 deck played at the Pro Tour, which you wouldn't know that by looking at the top 8 or even looking at how well the decks did on day 2. However, I think it was one of the decks that at the Pro Tour was just, hey, this is the bar, you need to have game versus it. And I think whenever that happens, people are more prepared for what they know as opposed to what they don't know. And moving forward, talking about like maybe Grand Prix Montreal, which could be a big resurgence, is Mardu Vehicles is going to have to change a lot of their numbers, and they're going to have to change and reflect that on these decks.
How did the deck perform against zombies? Any idea?
I'm not sure, but I would think that it would be a bad matchup.
Me too.
Because zombies has 1-drops, it has interaction early, and it can just go so wide that Mardu has a tough time dealing with it. And their plan, Mardu's sideboard plan was traditionally versus black-green, let's bring in Oats and Planeswalkers. That doesn't work for zombies. They just go, we're going to make more zombies.
Yep.
You're doing that, we're going to make more zombies. And so...
I think it's fiction. I think the deck is far from dead. I do still think it's tier 1. Its performance in the Pro Tour was about as close to 50-50 as you can get.
As
even
the machine
with all,
says.
Even with all the mirror matches taken out, so it didn't regress to the mean, it still ended up being about 50-50. And it was the most played deck and the most on both day 1 and day 2.
I think the harder thing is being like a Mardu Vehicles player, like I've played the deck before at like a premier level event, is like knowing that like zombies is really close.
Yeah.
Knowing that Marvel is like literally a coin toss because game 1 it's like
close too.
It's super close, and then playing Mardu mirror matches, which is really close. You just don't have like a favorable edge versus what I believe to be the top 3 decks in the format at this point. And like I don't know how its matchup is versus blue-red, which may be the 4th outlier here. But if all of your matchups are 50-50, did Mardu Vehicles just become the Jund of Standard?
I mean, kind of. Heart of Kirwan is the nuts against blue-red.
You gotta have heart.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Gene Hackman says that to Keanu Reeves and their replacements. You gotta have heart.
That's its matchup against blue-red. It's Heart of Kirwan and it wins. If not, it doesn't do great.
I just think it's also tougher, too, for Mardu. Like we said, you saw Manglehorns in Martin Mueller's list. You saw Yu's list. He played 3 Dissenters Deliverances, main. I mean...
It's just like...
We're not losing. We're not losing to Heart of Kirwan.
Your turn.
Yeah. We're going to kill your thing.
Mardu, 68% versus blue-red.
Kill your thing. There you go. So it's Mardu's favorite. I guess the Planeswalker stuff. Early beats, Planeswalkers. Just can't beat a Gideon.
Can't beat a Gideon and Heart of Kirwan are really good.
Obscure movie reference. You got it.
Captain
All right, we're done with this one. Fiction,
hero.
Mardu Vehicles is alive!
Gonna take
it's
population
alive!
down to 0.
All right, last factor fiction.
Yes, it was about
for the
40-something%. Blue-red controls
The
very
delicious
bad.
waffles. I want some waffles.
The delicious waffles is Lawrence.
That
You don't know
sounds
Lawrence?
great.
He's great.
I know Lawrence. It's great. All right, last one of the day. Factor fiction. Standard would be better if Feldar Guardian was still around. Our cute little cat. Kevin, this one's for you. As he leaves the show. That is the scariest cat sound I've ever heard. I thought you were actually going to start making the reference for the boat. Council flagship. Okay, so here we go. Would it be better if cat was legal?
We got a lot of votes for this one.
Yeah, of course. This is the part where you talk.
Oh, I was just watching the poll.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, no,
I
mean
do that on the weekend when you go out with your friends. Oh wow, I heard that one.
We swallowed our
right.
beverage. I didn't want to do a spit take, you know? So hot take. Losing to Saheeli Guardian combo is more fun than losing to turn 4 Ulamog.
Is it though?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, what is better? Knowing that like your opponent might turn for you or might literally do nothing? Or knowing that you're just going to die on turn 4 if you don't keep mana on time.
But that's the thing. People are like telling these sob stories. How many matches did we watch at the Pro Tour where literally the Marvel spin did not hit Ulamog on turn 4? Like these are like dark, twisted like dreams that just every single time you get turn 4 Ulamog. It doesn't happen. No, you don't.
You don't get turn 4 Ulamog every time, but if you get turn 4 Ulamog once,
are you playing against someone that stacks their deck? Because most decks play 3 and the percentage of you getting that is like not that high.
Well, you know what happened? Everyone took their 4-color Saheeli decks, and they took out the 4 Saheeli Ryan and the 4 Felidar Guardian.
We got some numbers here. You're 32% chance to hit Ulamog if you play 3 on turn 4. So
not if all 3 are in your hand like I am every single. That's what happens for me every single time.
But that's random. We're talking about you need to have untapped lands.
I know. I'm just.
You need to have 6 energy.
Being an idiot. I'm sorry.
You need to have Marvel. You need to have Ulamogs in your deck. All of these things need to be true, and I just feel like more games. Whereas you can never tap out versus Saheeli, which makes the games unplayable because you're just sitting here like, well, he's playing cat, so I just can't even play my strategy.
I don't want to be turned for Emrakul either.
But it's okay because
I don't want any of these things to happen to me on turn 4.
Sure, you don't want that to happen. But
except when I lose to when I lose to Emrakul, I want to go tilt off on Twitter. When I lose to Ulamog, I'm just like. I figure I might go buy a lottery ticket because variance is going to come back around.
Yeah.
And then when I lose to cat combo, I go, I'm stupid. I need to work harder and figure out what I'm doing. Or I need to play that matchup better. Every time I lose to cat combo, I feel like I didn't bluff well enough or I didn't sequence right or something. It just felt like the most skill-intensive format I'd played in a long time.
Maybe. I don't know. I just feel that a lot of the decks were unable to be played because of the cat. Whereas with Ulamog, yes, it is very annoying to try to play a game of Magic and then all of a sudden the guy hits the trump card or has the wild card. But you could still play your deck, no matter what it is, and your opponent still has a chance of not hitting that card. Like your decks still are viable and playable. Whereas with Cat, it's just like, this is the best deck, and you can't even tap out. Like these cards that are like cost 3 mana, you play the mirrors, you can't even tap out for your Rogue Refiner. Like Standard should not be a format where you can't play a 3-drop because you might just die the next turn. Like, literally, the game's over. Not
it's still that way.
It is and it isn't. There's a chance. It's not like, if they have the cards, the game's
the Marvel
over.
Mirror, if you're both playing this Marvel deck and you have a Rogue Refiner in your hand and you're on the draw, what are you going to do? You're just going to play your Rogue Refiner, untap, and Marvel you to oblivion. And they're going to hit Ulamog. If they don't hit Ulamog, they're just going to do it again next turn until they do.
All right.
I don't understand. And they have 3 main deck Shatters? Or they have a million Chandras in their deck? Like, none of these things work out well for you. You can't tap out on turn 3.
There's got to be some cost for playing Mythic Rares, though. We're not talking about, like, just regular rares. We're talking about a setup cost, which is real.
The cost is turn 1 Dread Wanderer, go.
All right.
But then the Mythic Rare just rafts your board, so it's not a cost anymore.
Cry me a river, okay? Play Manglehorn main deck, all right? If you don't want to lose to turn 4 Marvel, you heard it here. Play Manglehorn main deck.
And what do you do with your Manglehorn?
You just put it into play. They can't turn 4 you. They can turn 5 you. They can turn 5
They can still turn 4 you.
No, you can't. Marvel comes and play tap.
Do you want me to show you how?
Do you want me to show you how?
Turn 1, Attune with Ether off of Botanical Sanctum, get a mount, and go.
Okay.
Turn 2, Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot.
Sure.
We have 5 energy. Turn 3, another fast land. Go. They play Manglehorn. You go. Harness Lightning your Manglehorn, untap, play Ether, play Marvel.
But that's like dream scenario.
It's not dream scenario. It's a normal hand.
No, it's not. That's not normal to have a tune on one you have to have. You have to have Puzzle Knot. You have to have an Aether Hub. You have to have a Harness Lightning, and you have to have an Aetherworks Marvel. That also hits Ulamog. That's a lot. That's a lot. Anyway, Paul's done. 80% fiction, so yeah, it's gone. I'm glad it's gone. And we're moving on.
I think what it is a symptom of a greater problem.
Okay.
It's a symptom of the problem that I always keep talking about. That there's just going to be the information spreads so fast. And this is like my shtick. This is like there's the guy who runs for president every year and goes, the rent is too damn high. Like, you know, this is my shtick. My shtick is the information on the internet spreads way too fast and it makes everything crazy. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, that's why you immediately realize you're supposed to just swap Marvels and Ulamogs into your 4-color Saheeli deck, or your whatever, you know, your 3-color Saheeli deck now. But
all right, well,
like that's why you have Glimmers, Gearhulks, Marvels, and Ulamogs instead of Glimmers, Gearhulks, Saheelis, and Felidar Guardians. Yeah. It's just like it just slots right in, and you know what? People had an infinite amount of Magic Online data, and all the results are right there available. There's literally a machine that breaks the format every single time there's a big tournament, and it's never wrong.
It's true, and you never play the deck, neither do I.
I never listen to it, but it's never wrong.
It's true. All right, well, we're going to get into a segment here for Future of Magic. I'm going to step out for a quick sec. Kevin's going to get going into it.
I'm just going to start yelling about this until I come back.
Well, if you do that, then we're just going to end the show when I come back.
All right.
Up to you.
Well, no, Future of Magic is a conversation. We need to have it together.
Well, it's ending.
I can't get into it without you.
You can't do it without me?
What do we got going on here? More polls. The polls are good. Yeah, I don't understand. He's just like, play Manglehorn is so wrong. Okay. Dan's coming back, but you guys have to deal with me until then. Daddy, Daddy. Should we start a daddy chant, like the Jerry chant? Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. Tony, can you make another poll? Who would win in a foot race, Dan or Kevin? Guys, vote on this poll. Who would win in a foot race? All right. And then, so basically the future of Magic is going to be, essentially it's just going to be, we saw a bunch of changes, you know. We saw Worth Whirlport leave Magic Online. We just recently saw Helene Bergeau leave our Organized Play, the head of Organized Play. So, is Hasbro taking Magic in a different direction? Like, is Hasbro trying to turn Magic into a, you know, just like a little bit of an offshoot of their gaming brands? Like, are they trying to, like, diminish the competitive aspect? Or alternatively, is it trending towards a global esport? Like, is it trending towards the way of Hearthstone and, you know, League of Legends and WoW or Dota, whatever you want to call it, all those games that people play online, stream with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of viewers or whatever. I think this is... I'm losing? 2/3 of the people in this chat think I would lose in a foot race?
For me?
Yeah!
100%.
I give you a head start, you would get dusted.
You would get crushed, okay? Not close.
Welcome back. We started off here. We're talking about the
this?
future of Magic. I
Who
explained
wins in a foot race?
Yeah.
I will crush you in a foot race.
I explained that.
Even in my out of shape self right now, would crush you.
I know Derek's gonna vote for me. He knows the truth.
The truth is, people that saw you on the basketball court would definitely answer this correctly.
I just don't know how to move on a basketball court yet. I haven't played enough organized basketball.
All right. Well,
I'm getting used to it.
Stream the race.
Yeah, we do it. Can we do that?
Oh my goodness.
Next
gracious.
week?
I should pull up a clip that I have of Bolovo and Pedro Carvalho running, but I'd have to ask their permission first.
I'm so old. I'll still dust him.
All right, here we are. Future of Magic. Last topic of the day. Who wins? I won.
He says you smoked and can't run more than 20 steps,
Dan
but
is
Dan is fat.
Love you too.
I'm disgusted with
If
our
I'm
viewership.
fat, then I don't know, man. If I'm in the category of fat Magic players,
I don't think you're fat.
Thanks, man.
I think you're great looking.
Aww.
I think you're borderline intolerable to be around when like.
Tell me
you
how
open
you really
your mouth.
See, with friends like this,
But
you need
like,
enemies.
you're good looking.
Ooh. I was gonna say something. But
You're
I'm
like
not. We're
you're
moving
like
on.
arm
We're moving
candy.
on.
Like
Arm
you're like
candy.
they would bring you as like the date to like a ball, but they would only do it in like Europe where you can't open your mouth and speak to people because you don't understand the language. Like that, you would be the best date in a country where you can't speak the language.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah,
Dating advice with Kevin Jones. All right, let's go.
I'm a bit prancy.
Future of Magic.
I'm a bit prancy. But yeah, the future of Magic. I explained to them. I said, well, you were going. I said, we watched Worth Wolpert leave being in charge of Magic Online.
Yep, that's
we
a
watched
big
Helene
deal.
Bergeau leave being in charge of organized play. Do we think Magic is going in the direction of the the competitive aspect? The organized play aspect is being diminished greatly, and it's just like basically just a brand offshoot of some of the games they play, and it's just a casual thing, and they're kind of trying to do that? Or do we think that it's ultimately going to be trending in the direction of the global esports, like, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, frontier or whatever, like just the.
It's weird because like with these positions leaving, and we don't know how much of it is them wanting to leave or the position just ceasing to exist. That hasn't been made public, correct?
Well, I don't know. I have no idea what happened.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a public statement. It should be coming out soon, they said.
I mean, it's possible she got fired. It's possible she left voluntarily. It's possible her position doesn't exist anymore, which is a little bit of both, right?
Yeah, true. And so what I'm saying is I think that it's interesting that that's happening. And by watching this last Pro Tour, at first, like, the Team Series thing was being pushed at the previous Pro Tour. And it was something new, and they're trying it out. And I think it's actually being pushed enough to where it was actually like a viable topic of discussion.
Yep.
They were bringing up the separate teams. And I think in that aspect, it's becoming more closer to an esport than not.
But it's a joke. Nobody cares about the teams.
I don't think it's a joke.
Nobody
anymore.
outside of the Pro Tour cares about the teams. And people that do...
Well, that may be true. But think about the people that are qualified now for the Pro Tour that
people that
wouldn't
are
be.
in the Pro Tour care about the teams, but they already cared about the teams. They already cared about each other's performance.
You didn't care, yes, but you didn't care to the point where Chris would have, if there was not a team series, Chris Fennell, I'm speaking of, would have probably ID'd.
Sure.
Earlier. And now, not only does that affect the gameplays, like you got 2 more matches that were actually worth something to people as opposed to just getting Magic or having rounds that just don't matter or IDing.
But like it's a cool novelty. Sure, I don't hate the teams. Whatever, it's fine. I don't think it's a bad thing. But like to think that it's gonna like the team series is the big step to like esports superstardom, and like to think that like now Magic's gonna be okay and we're gonna all start to get like 6-figure paychecks.
I don't think,
and we'll like be on ESPN or whatever. It's just delusional.
I just don't think that's what they're trying to.
They're never gonna be that though.
Well, they might never be that, but I think the team series was just something that they wanted to do.
I think that's what
to
the team
move in
series
that
is.
direction.
I think the team series isn't a step in that direction. I think the way that they changed the prizes for Worlds and stuff is a step in that direction.
Yeah.
I think that everything.
But it's a step. It's not.
I think
like
their
a
coverage is a step in that direction. It's all a jump. It's a joke.
What do you want them to do, though, Kevin?
What do
you want them to do?
I don't know.
Not do anything?
I want
them
to
making strides.
I want them to sell Pro Tour coverage to Cedric Phillips. That's what I want them to do.
Yeah.
If I was in charge of the world, I would be like, hey, take this.
But that's not even like a great idea either. Like you're talking about. I'm not saying Cedric wouldn't do a great job, but you're talking about a company that just took away their premier series, their invitational like outlet into the Players Championship. So you're going to give the Pro Tour, which is the highest level of Magic possible, to someone that is in charge of running tournaments and putting together everything and behind the scenes and all that, to a company that just took away their Pro Tour. That doesn't make sense.
They don't need that. They don't need their Pro Tour to get viewers.
Yeah. So then, what's the next step? That Wizards doesn't need a Pro Tour? Like that's when Magic dies. The day the Pro Tour dies is the day Magic dies.
No, Magic's already dying.
No, it's not dying. You've been talking to Ed too much.
Well, Ed is the smartest
Magic
person in the room.
is not dying. It is. Dan hates Cedric Phillips. You're crazy.
No, Dan likes Cedric.
Are you crazy?
We both love Cedric. Cedric's
Yeah,
great.
we're good pals.
But like,
Hashtag Bulls.
He said, "What do you want to do?" He didn't say what's realistic, what's reasonable, or whatever. He said, "What do you want to do?"
Yeah.
And I said, "If I was in charge, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
I would give it. I would say, here, you take this, and you can make it into whatever you want to do. You can make it a 24-person Pro Tour where like it's a reality TV show or whatever, you know." Like a 24-person Pro Tour where they like sequester them away for like months at a time.
Real world Magic the
Yeah,
Gathering.
exactly. Something like that. They could do that.
But-
Maybe that's the Pro Tour. Maybe
But-
you only qualify for the Pro Tour by being in the
Reality
top
show?
25 in the world or whatever.
Well, that's what like Worlds is supposed to be, somewhat.
Yeah, kind of, but make it like an experience, like not just like a 5-day thing or whatever.
People that don't get that
No,
reference.
don't
I'm
ever get
sorry.
rid of Rich Hagon. Rich Hagon is great.
The
Everyone
reason
in
why
coverage
the
is
Pro
fine.
Tour is great is because of Rich Hagon and because of Brian David Marshall. Not to take anything away from anyone else, I thought the coverage was actually really good this time.
They did much better
Yeah.
at selling people. I think they're finally starting to get. They're starting to get it. Like they're supposed to sell people. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
And they sold us Martin Mueller
That's the
with
first
his
thing I agree
F-bomb.
with
They
that.
sold us Calcano choking back tears after a lifetime of grinding and finally his first Pro Tour
Yeah.
top 8. You sold us Jerry as a champion, you know, just being like, thank you, humbly.
The
You know,
thing
almost
is-
at a loss for words when he was getting interviewed.
The thing is this, right? Is there things they could do better? Yes. I believe, in my opinion, they're making strides at that. They're trying new things. I don't know where their company, their direction of where they want to go. But if they're trying to get to what you're talking about, these esports, yes, we're talking like they're so far apart, it's, laughable. But making strides to, narrow that gap, I can respect that, and I think it's really good.
I simply do not believe what you're saying, Necromancer. I do not believe it's their highest profit product. And if it is, it's because their most resources are allocated to it. I don't think it's their highest profit margin. I
don't know.
simply
Magic
don't
the
believe
Gathering
that.
Online is just free money, so they're just literally a printing press of money.
Yeah. But like Magic the Gathering Online, it's just what they're doing is printing the worst possible product, and like people are still just buying it over and over and over.
Yeah, that makes it not the worst product. That just makes it not the best product. If people are paying for something, then it can't be the worst of anything. Like people are not paying to play other games that are done better.
Well,
but
there's
because
no
Magic-
alternative.
Yeah.
If you could win prizes on Cockatrice, I think people would play that.
Yeah, I agree. If the Pro Tour dies, then it's bad news bears for everything.
Oh no, I understand that the Pro Tour is what sells the game. I'm not saying it isn't.
Yeah.
I just don't think that it's all like it's just all like joke money in the long run. It's just whatever.
What?
The money that the Pro Tour generates, the money that.
But it's
Magic
not
is
made.
in
It's
general.
not. It's not meant
It's like-
to generate money. It's meant to generate people's ideas and wanting to play the game. Like
But
it's a loss
the
for
Pro
them to do
Tour
it.
is not the Pro Tour is what sells competitive Magic, but competitive Magic is such a small thing.
I don't know about that. I don't think like it just sells competitive. I think people that just enjoy Magic and want to learn more about the game itself. Like they had, and you could see here, they had streamers on this time. We're talking artists. They go to R&D and talk about things. Like those clips, I genuinely, as someone who just plays the game, at this point in my life at a professional level, I enjoy watching, Mark Rosewater just go into like this crazy
the Pro Tour is
character
fine.
mode.
The Pro Tour is a fine product, but like they're just trying to be like, hey, we're not an esport. We're just something to do for fun. Being professional at Magic is pretty hard. You have to be way better than everybody else to do it.
Sure.
You can't actually do it and like make a real living unless you have a bunch of other things subsidizing it. And like that's the way it is, and we're gonna give you an enjoyable experience, and this game is great, and it's the best game ever made. And you're gonna watch this best game ever made, played by the best people,
Yeah.
and you're gonna enjoy it, and then after that, that's what it is. We're not selling you some grandiose dream. And the people that buy into it like are delusional. And so are we, in a lot of ways.
I don't know.
But like the thing is, it is promotional.
Yes.
But like the Pro Tour could not exist, and Magic's largest demographic of people that purchase the game on a regular basis would not be impacted in the slightest.
I don't know. I disagree with that. But
Well, you can look it up. I'm pretty sure that is actually proven.
what?
That the vast majority of people who purchase Magic don't even know what the Pro Tour is.
You're right, but they touch base with people that do.
They don't even have a DCI number.
Sure. But they talk to someone who does.
so much Magic.
But they talk to someone who does. People have to have something to spark their interests.
And the Pro Tour is not what does that. You know what does that? Game day. You know what does that? Standard Showdown Amonkhet or Amonkhet House Party or whatever you want to call it. Box opening or launch party, whatever you want to call it. Those things are actual, real advertising promotions that sell people. The Pro Tour doesn't really promote anything. It sells the dream to delusional 20-somethings who do it for a while, realize it can't work because they're not good enough, and then they give up.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
All right, well, 100%. If you guys disagree with me, you're just wrong, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I support your ability to be wrong.
Yeah, I just think you're overlooking. You're overlooking the fact that
I love freedom.
Yeah, freedom.
I love your freedom to be wrong, and my freedom to tell you you're wrong. Exactly. Walmart selling Magic sells Magic. Thank you for backing me up here.
Yeah, that is good. I'm not disagreeing with that. But to say the Pro Tour doesn't sell Magic is just idiotic, in my opinion.
No, it does. But compared to what other things they're doing compared to the casual market, it sells.
But that depends on where you are.
Amount.
There's stores that have game day and whatnot, and that doesn't sell anybody because it's the same players playing the game. You're talking about an actual tournament that people can go on Twitch. And how many times has this happened to you? You're not even talking about this. I have so many friends on Facebook that now did know nothing about Magic, but the fact that like they're friends with me, they're introduced to this. And if it wasn't for like GP coverage, Pro Tour coverage, I can send them a link. And I have people that were in the Navy that never played and go, man, you're doing this. And I looked into it. And now they hit me up on deck stuff, or they'll be like, yeah, I just bought my first deck. That sells Magic. People being able to put on their timeline, I just won $50,000. I am a professional Magic the Gathering player. People have never heard of this stuff, 20 years ago, 10 years ago.
No, I know.
And like that sells Magic. Word of mouth sells Magic. So, being able to put your dollar to cents here and say, I am paying my rent money with money that I earn from playing this
That's
game.
Cool. It feels good. I've done it before. It feels good.
Yeah.
I think the Pro Tour has a butterfly effect on the rest of the game. While casual players exist, competitive players spend far more money on the game. That statement is wildly inaccurate. It is wildly inaccurate. It is not true. Casual players are the vast majority of people who purchase Magic cards. Far and away. Competitive players make up a very small, under 20% subset of people who purchase Magic cards. Now, it just is true.
It depends on what you're talking about. Are we talking about like casuals in store? Are we talking about grinders that are putting tickets on Moto? Are we talking about money spent because we might not spend as much money like on cards, but how many Grand Prix did you play last year?
I don't know, a few.
Probably 10 more than the average person.
Yeah, maybe 7 Grand Prix.
So 10 times 75, there's $750.
But I didn't buy a single sealed box.
But it went.
I might have bought one.
But what I'm saying is, I can understand what the statement is alluding to. Like competitive Magic players not only have to buy sleeves a lot more than casual players, they still have to buy cards when they need them or borrow them, however they got to do. And there's a lot that goes into entry fees. I don't know. I know this year already. I don't know how many Grand Prix I've played, but I know I've played the PTQ on Sunday for just 6-3ing the first day one, or just deciding, or just not making day two, at least 4 times. And now that's even more money they're getting.
Per person, competitive players spend more. Casual players spend more collectively. Casual players definitely spend more, but I don't even think per person that competitive players spend more. I don't spend anything on Magic at all.
Yeah, but you're
tournament entry fees and that's it.
But you are like the small. I think you're. You
don't spend anything on Magic either, right?
That's not true.
You spend some tickets on Magic Online.
I
spend maybe $30 every 6 months on Magic.
But whether previously.
I fire up a few drafts, and then I free roll a couple because I'm okay at it, and then I eventually go busto and I don't reload.
But you borrow cards a lot, and for a long time I was allowed to have whatever cards I wanted. And
I borrow cards all the time.
And those I think are like 5% or less than competitive Magic players. I think more Magic players, they use their networking ability to borrow cards when they can, but they still have to spend money on cards. It's not like friends have every single card. Or let's say, a group of friends comes together like the Pro Tour and wants to play the same deck. You can't borrow cards from people if you're playing the same deck.
What do you mean? Well, if you're saying 99% of competitive players are not sponsored, then 99% of competitive players are not competitive players. They're what's called casual competitive players, which are actually part of the casual demographic. People like, who's a good example of Andrew Harris or or like, John and Mark and all those guys from the shop, modern guys. Those guys are casual competitive players.
Sure, but we're talking about people that go to Grand Prix, that like fly out to Grand Prix but aren't sponsored.
People who fly to Grand Prix who aren't sponsored, there's very few of them.
Yeah.
People who fly to Grand Prix are the top tier. Those people spend nothing. Those people are a dot on the map in the money that Wizards makes. Those people are a negligible amount of money. They spend nothing.
I'm not sure.
They are 1%. They are literally 1%. They don't matter.
I just think it depends on what you're talking about.
Wizards does
everybody's
not
different.
care about them or what they think at all.
But they should, because
in a money demographic, they don't.
They should.
The people who are like this person,
it's the same thing. If people stop traveling to Grand Prix
competitively and works full time or whatever. If people stop traveling to Grand Prix, what?
If people stop traveling to Grand Prix and pros stop going to Grand Prix, then guess what? Grand Prix become just some casual event, and people don't want to just like watch coverage of a casual event of people. It happens all the time when SEG puts coverage on of like round 2, and they're just watching people that. No offense, this doesn't happen all the time, and I don't want to sound like I'm ignorant to this. But when you're watching a feature match, you want to be watching Magic at a good level or a high level. You're putting the game on display for others to watch. And when you're watching that and you're just watching people that no one can associate with, you have 2 people there because everyone else has buys or whatnot.
Yeah.
It's just, sometimes it's hard to watch, I guess is what I'm saying.
What if there's not pros?
Yes.
Sure, of course. Pros drive it. But pros are competitive players.
Yeah.
People who grind every GP are competitive players. But people who play PPDQs are also competitive players, but it's not the same thing. And they're not the same thing. Not the same demographic. The people who play PPDQs and work 9 to 5s or whatever, those people who play, the local GP, they might go 6 hours for a GP. They might play, one GP every 2 months or whatever. Sure. Like those people who play a lot of events who are pretty competitive.
If you play more than 4 GPs a year, you're competitive, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're competitive.
Yeah.
But you're not part of the Grand Prix grinder demographic that they're putting these.
But then, if you're talking about that, the demographics less than 1% of the entire Magic community overall.
It is, and it's the loudest percent. It's the loudest group by a very wide margin, and they don't matter at all. And Wizards caved to their wants and needs when they banned Feldar Guardian, and it's just a wildly inaccurate thing that happened.
All right, I like how we go back to the fact or fiction.
Well, I'm just saying, that's it. That's the point. These people are such a small thing, and that's
but they're the people who are at the voice for the other people.
But they're the people who are at the They're not the voice for the other people. They're the voice for themselves.
Okay. But these people produce content that you're talking about and are on Twitter and are the people that people look up to in the community.
And are the people that play in the Pro Tour.
Yeah. Not all of them, but yeah.
And they're actually the smallest group of people who... But then, they're the ones who play in the Pro Tour. They're the ones who are the face of the game and everything. But they spend almost nothing on Magic cards.
I just think it's
and they're not invested in the game really.
It's so different
outside of emotionally or outside of time.
Because I don't want to speak with actual names, but I have information that certain pros purchase master sets of every time a set comes out. And whether it's between that, whether it's buying from the dealer booth when you need the last minute and paying the full price, playing way more tournaments that supports Wizards as opposed to just going to the local games shop and buying singles, which, I hate to tell you, Wizards doesn't get any of that money.
No, I know.
It's a case-by-case basis.
But
for you to say that competitive
people,
Magic players just don't spend enough money or are not even close, I think that's just crazy.
Casual competitive players buy sealed product. Those are the people... Casual competitive players are part of the people who buy, Modern Masters boxes.
Sure.
Who
I think everyone does
buy
that,
Infinite Challenge badges at tournaments. That Wizards doesn't get money for that, but you know what I'm saying.
I get where you're going with this, but I'm trying to break it to you that I feel like the percentage you're talking about, it's nowhere close to being dead set. Because there's a lot of people that are competitive Magic players that will still go out and buy Modern Masters box. I've bought boxes of all of the last previous sets that we've had.
Sure.
And I'll just put them away. And there's a lot of people that do that. There's people that buy master play sets of Standard because they're going to be playing competitive.
But they're they're almost investing in a way. They're using it as a way to make money. They're not buying it for their enjoyment.
Well, no, they're buying it so that they can play the cards in any tournament they want. They don't have to worry about getting the stuff. And then not only that, they're buying cards online because they have to test.
I see you, but these, like, they don't buy loose booster packs very often, and, like, those are the ways that Wizards makes money. Those are the profit margins.
Yeah.
Loose packs, like holiday gift boxes, fat packs, commander decks, stuff like that. That's the stuff that makes the money.
Okay. I'm not saying it doesn't make them money, but
Booster
I guess
boxes,
where
whatever.
I'm going with this is $20 here and there from people is the same at the end of the year when, you know, these competitive players spend $700 at one clip. Yeah, they don't go every week and spend $20, but when they buy stuff, they actually buy stuff.
The number of competitive players that spend $700 in one clip is like a single-digit number of people.
Okay, maybe $700 is a little dramatic, but that's like,
like just if you
that's
have
what a set costs.
But like most people are not that. Most people don't buy full sets.
I don't know. I've seen
like most people that are competitive Magic players are kind of broke, or they have a job and don't care. Like they're one or the other.
I don't know.
They're not like financial scions that are just like investing.
I have a
in things.
different.
Like not everyone is Finkel.
I have a different perspective on this because I've worked behind a booth before.
Yeah.
And I've literally throughout multiple weekends had 10 to 15 players, which I would put as the top 50 players in the room. And it's happened multiple times where they just come and go to the booth and give me a list of their entire deck. Or they come in and go, I need 4 of this and 4 of that. And that card's not $1.
Right?
Of course, right on the spot.
Yeah, they buy their entire deck right there.
There you go.
One of the best players in the room.
Yeah.
You know what they didn't buy? A single sealed pack from Wizards. That's my point.
But you can't. It's like apples and oranges we're talking about.
I think competitive Magic drives the secondary market completely and totally.
Sure, which makes it available for the casual market to exist.
But I don't think they have anything to do with the primary market. I don't think competitive Magic at all really affects the people who this sealed product market, the actual things that come from Hasbro, the actual things that are impactful in the bottom line.
Well, I guess I'm going to close it with this.
There you go.
This is my
Someone's
final
just
remarks.
talking
Go ahead.
Someone's talking to me. They're saying what I'm saying.
Okay, go
Pros
ahead.
and grinders help create the environment for WotC to make money, but they could vanish tomorrow and WotC wouldn't feel a difference in sales.
So this,
I 100% agree with you.
So this is my closing argument with this topic, and it kind of references that. Yes, you were right. This game that was founded and created by Richard Garfield was meant to be something casual that could be picked up with friends. However, in this day and age, and what we've got to as a society and just the world, the game has grown to being such a competitive game that more people play it competitively now. I don't want to say more people play it competitively now than casual, because that's not true. But more people spend money on it for competitive use than for casual use. And if they were to remove the Pro Tour market, remove all the pros, and just literally have these, Friday Night Magics where people just got together and they, played their favorite cards, played their decks. There was no breakdowns anymore of Standard, Modern, and Legacy. You'd lose all the people from Wizards. You'd lose all the people from making sure that the rules were balanced and unmatched. You would make a lot of money, but you would have nothing to sell that on. It would just be super casual, and there would be
Magic tournaments.
Yeah, but
still have game day, still have Commander Showdown, still have Standard
But it wouldn't
Showdown,
mean anything.
Still have it doesn't need to mean anything to these people. They just want to have a good time. The people who are driving your product just want to have a good time with their friends. They just want to play EDH in the corner of a store.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is no one's going to travel for these events anymore. You're never going to have a large Grand Prix, which means
drive to my local store for game day or whatever.
Sure, you would, but I mean for Grand Prix, they would just not exist.
Yeah, they don't have to.
Magic would never exist.
They shouldn't spend the money it takes to. They shouldn't do Grand Prix.
In your opinion. In your opinion.
Yeah, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I just think that.
I think there's a reason why they're doing it, and it's because they're making money. And if they weren't making money, they wouldn't be doing it.
I mean, I don't think SCG makes money on the majority of the opens that they play.
But we're not talking about SCG. We're talking about Grand Prix, which are run by Wizards.
Yeah, Grand Prix are run by Wizards.
SCG, do you think it can be used as a marketing tool for
that's
their
what.
site.
Well, that's what the Grand Prix are arguably for Wizards too, right?
They make money at the Grand Prix.
They make money at every Grand Prix?
I wouldn't say every Grand Prix, but I'd say majority of the Grand Prix they make money.
I mean, I'd imagine that they do make money, but you also have to gauge that money against the people who are paid to organize these things are solely salaried. The people who, you got Helene, you got several other people in those positions. You got a rules manager for competitive play. You have a marketing rep, a brand manager from competitive play. You have all these people. These people are all salaried or whatever. These people all exist. If you just cut all their positions, you probably have $400,000. Do you think they make $400,000 off of a year of Grand Prix? I don't know. Do they make $1 million?
They make a lot more than that.
Per Grand Prix?
Yeah. No, you said the whole year.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they make $1 million. I don't know if they make $600,000. I don't know.
All right, so we're going to wrap the show up. That was a good controversial topic to close
it was
it out.
Good. KirwansGameStore.com is the online source for your gaming needs. We stock sealed products and card singles for Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and Weiss Schwartz. We also carry singles for HeroClix and Star Wars Destiny. With our free economy shipping on all orders and responsive customer service, you get more of the games you want hassle-free. Shop KirwansGameStore.com today and see why we are the best place in gaming.